you mentioned the tense political climate that we're in right now and everything else. And there's probably a lot of friendships being severed or being strained with all of that. But like,
oh yeah,
it's our job as humans to listen to understand instead of listen to respond or listen to counter so that you can be right. Sometimes it's not about being right. Sometimes it's about gaining understanding, right? And so I intentionally keep a wide, diverse range of people on my Facebook feed because I'm constantly trying to understand where other opinions are coming from, right? Perception is reality. And so if their perception is this, that's their reality. Whether it's true or not remains unknown. It's not my reality, but it's theirs.
I completely understand that. And I do the same thing. I have never, ever unfriended or blocked someone because we differ in our political views or and it doesn't matter what it is. I want to hear what they have to say. I will make posts that says, that say things like, hey, now that Trump's in office, all of you anti-Second Amendment people, if you really think that he's going to be a dictator, does that change your view on the Second Amendment?
Do you want to go buy a gun now?
Do you feel like if you need to stand up for yourself, does that change your view on it? And they won't say anything.
No.
They never do. The problem, and to your point, gaining understanding from others, and what I think is the most irritating and stressful thing for me is I'm willing to do that, and I'm willing to debate calmly with people. Like I know you're wrong. It doesn't get under my skin, but tell me your thoughts and ideas, and I will listen to them. And then I'm going to tell you mine, and I would assume you would do the same thing. But they don't.
Yeah.
And they scream and they yell, and when you make valid points, they get mad and they throw temper tantrums, protests, hands-off protests. All those are adult temper tantrums. That's all they are. And you won't listen. Now, how can you come out and say we all have to fucking coexist, and when someone validates their own point or invalidates yours, how are we no longer coexisting?
Right.
Like if I come to them and I say, hey, we have to coexist, they scream and yell when I say I want to coexist in my own way.
Yeah.
And when they come to me and say I want to coexist, and I say that's fine, let me be me and let me be you, and then we go our separate ways, it's fine. Why is that a double standard? I think right now what's going on bothers me more than anything because you know me, I am friends with a vast array of people. I don't care. I don't judge anyone. I don't. And for those of you that are anti-Christian, God says, do not judge other people. I will do that.
Right.
So I don't.
Right.
Hey, you do you, dude. You do whatever you want to do. But I ask that you let me do me.
Yeah.
Don't expect me to change to make you feel better if you're not willing to do the same for me.
Right.
And that is what makes me... This is the first time I've felt like this in a long time. It makes me so fucking mad that I think I might do something stupid if I saw someone out there that was acting a fool.
Yeah.
Like if I had a Tesla, man, and say I take the girls out, and I see somebody's
and you get one of those videos
keying that thing, that dude's beat to death.
Oh yeah.
On the plaza. Like I'm gonna beat that motherfucker to death.
Yeah.
And for the first time in a long time, I'm a little scared of what I might do. And I don't want to be that way.
Right.
I really don't. I want all of us to be able to come together, realize we have differences, and be like, hey man, it's cool.
Yep.
We're gonna have all 4 years like you had your last 4 years. When Biden was in office, guess what? We didn't burn cities to the ground.
Yeah.
We didn't act a fool. We didn't have to have a fucking protest or an adult temper tantrum every fucking week because we didn't agree with what the government was doing. No, we let them do it because they won. I know what you're going to say.
Well, I guess Trump was in office when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, and they burned their city to the ground.
That's because they're dipshits. But yeah, you're right. And
either way, they were burning their city to the ground.
They were burning their city down no matter what. But it just speaks to the irrational behavior that they have. It literally is a temper tantrum for not getting what they want.
Yeah.
And it drives me insane. Like I posted today. I don't know if you saw it. I said, The stock market is starting to rebound. A bunch of other countries have realized that we have to lower our tariffs so that they'll lower theirs, and we will have free and open, not free, but free and fair trade, open and fair trade. And if, there's been a whole bunch of waste and overspending and everything uncovered, if a Democratic president had done that, he'd have a gold statue put up already. And they'd be worshiping some fucking, you know what I mean? But no, it's a Republican. Orange man bad. We can't do it. Why don't you just look at the results and not be a complete piece of shit?
Well, and half of it is like, how about you wait for results? So like, I have a friend of mine.
Yeah, it's not even been 100 days. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I have a friend of mine that is on the left, and I would say he's pretty far left.
I have a bunch of left friends too.
And I
want to punch him.
He's constantly, 5-6 times a day making anti-Trump posts. And most of them I dismiss, but if there's one where I have an opinion on, or he's just way off base on, or whatever, I'll comment on it. And
you're like me. You will comment something smart, get people to think.
I don't name call. I don't.
Yeah.
I just, hey, here's a different way. Here's a different perspective, right? And so, they're all bashing Trump for the stock market thing. And, he campaigned on, the best stock market ever. And it's like, well, give him the 4 years. Like,
well, give him the 6 months.
I mean, just.
It hasn't even, it's been 1 quarter. What do you.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah. And I think the best theory I've heard for what's happening is that they have a plan, and this isn't a conspiracy theory, this is like the most logical explanation for what they're doing, is tank the stock market and tank the price of oil, and that forces the feds to lower the interest rates.
Well, that's what they want. I know that.
And then if the feds lower the interest rates, then we refinance the American debt at a dramatically lower interest rate and save billions in interest.
And if you cut government waste on top of that,
right?
Guess what we've done? For the first time in God knows how long, maybe we cut some of our national debt.
Yeah. And throughout the history of the stock market, there has never, ever been there's not ever any 10-year span. You can pick any 10 years of the stock market you want. There is not ever any 10-year span where the stock market ended lower than it started.
Yeah.
Sometimes those 10 years are more impressive than others. Sometimes that's due to our president. Sometimes that's due to situations out of our control. Sometimes it's global impact, right? Like COVID wrecked the stock market, and maybe our president could have swayed that one way or the other, but we were fighting a global issue there.
Yeah.
And so sometimes your hands get tied, right? These trade wars, it's a global issue, right?
Yeah.
Global trade. But it's wrecking our stock market temporarily. But you look at most of the smart people in the world, and they already pulled their money out because they knew tariffs are going to temporarily disrupt the stock market. So they pull their money out, they let it disrupt the stock market and tank it, and then they're going to go buy low and put it right back in. And they get a chance to reposition themselves at a stock market with a much lower purchase price.
Yeah. I posted a video the other day. It was Nancy Pelosi in 1995 or 1996.
Yeah.
And she was talking about the benefits of tariffs.
I've seen that video.
It's great.
Here's what's funny. Nancy Pelosi used to look good. She used to be pretty attractive.
I don't want to say no. Okay, no. Stop.
I'm just saying it.
I think my dick knows when it's going to be in the devil. I think it would just be like, not happening.
Oh, I'm not saying I could get hard. But she doesn't look
no,
like
she doesn't look like death warned over.
Skeletor now.
But literally, Democrats, Republicans, politicians from 2000 and earlier were saying this is how we have to fix it. Mm-hmm. And no one ever wanted to do anything about it. So what happened? It got worse. Mm-hmm. It got worse. It got worse. It got worse. And Trump knew if I threaten these on other countries, they are going to renegotiate the tariffs that we pay now, which saves American jobs. Mm-hmm. It brings jobs back. It saves people money on things they buy from other countries. It's fucking common sense.
Yeah.
Like the fact that it took this long to get that right is a problem. This is not even something that we should protest. This is not something we should be upset about.
And it's not even right yet. We're watching it happen, and that's one of the frustrating parts about it is we're watching a multi-nation negotiation on several fronts occur, and we're getting a play-by-play update. But every play-by-play update we get, people are walking away from that update as this is the final outcome of the negotiation. Like
it's because they're dumb.
Yeah, when Trump and Zelensky didn't score a deal in the White House, and Zelensky disrespected our White House and tried to turn it into a PR stunt in front of the media and everything else, and everybody called him out on it. And everyone's like, oh, the art of the deal, the deal maker wasn't able to make a deal. And it's like, well, it's a big fucking deal. And
big deals aren't done over lunch.
It's not done over 2 hours.
Yeah, it's not a 4-hour golf thing where you're trying to negotiate a $2 million deal for a housing project. We're talking global economies.
Yeah,
that
and war
have to be changed.
And war.
Yeah, I wasn't even going to go war, but you're right. I mean, it's just
and so like this stuff takes time. You don't sign a deal with a builder to build you a house, and then 3 days after you sign the deal, you don't go, well, this builder sucks. I paid him to build me a house. Where's my house?
Yeah.
Like shit takes time, right?
Yes.
You don't commit to paying off debt and then, well, maybe this is what happens. You commit to paying off debt, and then when you still have debt 3 days later.
You know what? That's probably true. A lot of people are that fucking dumb.
Right. But it's funny how they will use it. You can always tell a critic from an open-minded person, because a critic will take literally every example under the sun and spin it to slight their opponent.
Yeah.
And much like the stock market thing and everything else, right? And so the stock market thing is widely used as a measure of Trump's effectiveness or lack thereof, right? They're trying to say that he's a poor leader because look what's happening to the stock market, as if this is the end. And Business Insider posted a story that says the wealthiest 10% of Americans own 93% of all the stocks in the stock market. The bottom 50% of Americans only owns 1% of all the stocks in the stock market.
Yeah.
But yet those are the people crying
about the stock market.
About the stock market.
It's because they use it as a tool to try and push their agenda or their point or their malice at Trump or Musk or whoever. And listen, the bottom third of Republicans that were poor, living in trailers in Florida, in Missouri, they did the same thing when Biden's market went down.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And, you know, I don't want to get off task here, but like when his market went down, everyone did the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
They just panicked and moaned and bitched and cried and whined. It was like, no. Like, and that was one of the things that they say that people that are brainwashed on one side or the other cannot see any fault in their own party. Like, I saw fault in that. I was like, what are you guys doing? The market's always going to come back. Shut your mouths.
Right. I saw, like, I don't agree one bit the way Trump handled COVID. Rushing the vaccine, not stopping a lot of the actions that were happening. Like, I just read an article today where they reinstating all the members of the military that were terminated because they refused the vaccine.
Yeah.
And they're giving them back pay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they've been talking about that for a while.
And
they should.
And they should.
Yeah. 100%.
And what's funny is there's a lot of people like mad facing that article.
Yeah, maybe we should take some of that transgender money that we stopped spending in Guatemala and pay those veterans, you know, what they have coming to them.
Yeah.
You know, just to make sense.
Well, it's like, how in the world could anybody be mad about that? And sure enough, there's people that are like, wait, we have people in our military that refuse orders. They need to be out. We don't want those people in our military. And it's like, hold on. You do want free-thinking, responsible individuals in your military that were able to see a slightly bigger picture and take their personal health into their own hands. Like, you do want that.
Yeah.
And so, there are people out there that will take even a story like that's nonpartisan.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. That's not left or right or anything, but they'll still take a story like that and find a way to hate Trump over it.
market thing. But to get back to that, like, people don't realize that the stock market is publicly traded and it's owned by guys like you and I that have stocks. So when the stock market crashes, it's not necessarily like it is based on decisions that the government makes that then you decide, I think I'm going to lose money here, and so I'm going to pull my money out. If you panic and pull your money out, you're the person that's making the stock market go down.
And
like it is regular people that are crashing the market because of fear. So when the media says, "Oh my God, these tariffs are going to make the stock market crash," and half of the
media is
people
crashing it.
Half of the people go and pull their money out, the media crashed it by opening their fucking mouths, and they don't know what the hell they're talking about.
Well,
like, do you think
the media crashes it on purpose because the media is trying to make Trump look bad?
Yes,
right. It's a market manipulation specifically to try to make Trump look bad.
In certain areas, yes, I will agree with that. And people that, like Warren Buffett, okay, you think he doesn't know that those stories are going to come out?
Yeah.
And so he pulls certain monies out of certain areas and then holds on to it. And then when that thing gets down to $38,000, doesn't put that money right back in.
Right.
No, he knows it's coming.
Yeah.
You know who else knows it's coming? Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah.
Schumer.
Yeah.
All of these Republicans that I'm not even going to name because I don't care. Hawley. You think they don't know? They know.
Right. So what's another thing that's wild is there's this blanket observation that nobody likes Trump and nobody likes Musk.
Except for the more than 50% of the country that voted for him.
Right.
Other than those people.
But they don't like them because they don't think billionaires should be in a position of government. And it's like, hold on.
Are we talking about Bernie Sanders here or no?
No.
Okay, is he exempt from the conversation?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
I apologize, Mitch. Go ahead.
And so, what they're missing is like, okay, we don't want somebody to come into government that's already a billionaire. We would much rather have somebody to come into government that's $100,000
and then become a billionaire,
and then become a millionaire or a billionaire on their $200,000 a year salary.
Yeah,
right?
Somehow they've just flipped a switch when they got elected. It made them smarter,
right?
And then allowed them to make that money outside of office,
right?
No, it's called insider trading. It's
called NGOs.
I don't understand. I've seen some things about Musk and like he's a rich elite and we don't want to blah 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 this and that, and like, what do you think Soros is doing? He's literally a billionaire that's paying people to protest.
What do you think Nancy Pelosi is? A rich elite.
Yeah, that's pushing the agenda you like so it doesn't offend you. So, like, it's not a problem then. It's only a problem when it's someone that's against you.
We don't mind the liberal rich elites. Like, and that's the thing is when they're talking about Republicans, they'll take blanket washing statements like rich elites.
Yeah.
But then when you talk about everyone else is, they earned it. Right?
Yeah, we're not talking about Bill Gates or Bezos or
it's no different than
Zuckerberg or any of those guys that have been funneling billions of dollars into the political system to push the left's agenda.
Right.
But no, those guys don't count because they're on our side.
Right.
And they're our friends.
It's no different than as early as 2 years ago. Everyone was praising Musk for being such a visionary and being so cutting edge and so smart, and he's created so many jobs, and he's such a great thing, and green and environmentalist, and all this stuff.
We love him. He is the new savior of the world.
And so they take those exact same things, and now once he sides with Trump, now they hate him. And what's funny is they hate him for the very things they love him for. 2 years ago, they said that he's created so many jobs. He's a visionary, blah, blah, blah. Now they take the exact same scenarios that caused those statements, and now they say that he's made his billions on the backs of Americans.
Yeah.
He's pretty much, slave labor. Yeah. The employees are slaves and all that. And it's like, hold on.
No, that would be LeBron James taking money from Nike and then having kids actually build those shoes. Okay?
Yeah.
That is a piece of shit.
Yeah. But like, I refer to this, I don't know what the right term is. I call it opportunistic offense. And that's where people are just taking an opportunity to be offended because the opportunity is there, not because they're actually offended.
Yeah.
It's no different than like, okay, I don't like Musk. So if I see some stranger driving a Tesla that now has nothing to do with Musk has already made his money on that Tesla because the guy bought it already.
Yeah.
Right?
It's over.
And
It's that person's hard-earned money sitting out there.
Yeah. And so now we're going to damage it, which literally only makes Musk's more money. Because if I own a Tesla and you spray paint it or you key it or you dent it or whatever, and I got to go buy new body panels, what am I buying them from Ford? No, I got to buy them from Tesla.
Yeah.
Guess who makes money when I buy body parts from Tesla? Musk.
Yeah.
Right? Guess who makes money when you burn my Tesla and now I have to go buy a new one?
The insurance companies.
Tesla just sold another unit.
Well, they're not going to probably buy another Tesla, but yeah, to your point, yes.
Right.
Like if that person loved their Tesla and they want another one, yeah.
Right.
Like the insurance that, hey, guess what? All of us pay into that. You're only hurting yourself.
Right.
Wrote that person a check. That person is like, I loved my Tesla. I have to have another one. They go buy another one.
Right.
What are you doing, you dumb fucks?
You're not hurting Musk in the slightest.
No.
Not,
you think he
not one
gives
bit.
a shit?
Yeah.
He doesn't. I
If
will
anything,
say
you're
this.
helping him.
He may care because I think he may actually care for people and want to do the right thing. I think that's why he bought X and why he's doing what he's doing now.
Yeah.
But it's not going to hurt him financially. I posted something. This has been, I don't know, maybe last week that it was talking about this. Like, how can you key an individual's car or put a swastika on it? Those people more than likely voted the same way you did.
Right.
They believe what you believe. That person spent their hard-earned money to make the planet greener, thought they were doing the right thing, and then you're only going to hurt your kind because you think that you're hurting Elon Musk. And most of the things that were on there were, in cooperation or in agreement with what I said.
Mm-hmm.
This guy, I know his name's Russ. I love Russ. I think he's a very, very smart person. All he put in his comments was a picture of the Boston Tea Party, of them throwing, like he was supporting what they were doing. They're protesting. Mm-hmm. And I put on there, dude, those people didn't go to individuals' homes, steal their tea, drive it out to the sea, and throw it in there.
Yeah.
Pull your fucking heads out of your asses.
Right.
Like, people that are so smart, so bright, have made a ton of money and literally are making great differences in this country. It's like their common sense meter has shut the fuck off, and they can't use it. They have no common sense. They have no grasp on what reality actually is. I am not a super smart, educated person, but I can see six steps deep.
Right.
Like, what the fuck sense does that make? It's protesting. By hurting an individual is not protesting.
Yeah.
It makes me, and this is what I was saying earlier before the show and all that, it makes me sad and depressed to see what Americans will do to each other to try to affect someone that they're not affecting at all.
Right.
To try to dictate change that's not going to happen. They're going to hurt their neighbor.
Yeah.
They're going to hurt someone close to them because they're too fucking stupid to understand what's actually going on.
Right. Yeah.
I hate it, man. I hate it.
So yesterday I posted.
Oh, I hate it. I'm going to turn this fucking table over in here. Should I? Should I just make a scene?
Maybe that'll get people to listen.
What the fuck is that supposed to be?
So yesterday I posted, we don't fight evil to prevent them from doing evil things. We fight evil to prevent them from doing good as they understand it.
Yeah.
And so in other words...
Perception is a real thing.
Yeah. So in other words, what we view as evil acts from somebody else, they view as doing good. Their perception of what they're doing is this is good, this is right, this is the way we should go. And so a lot of times when you get into this good and evil thing, you end up with a battle of a lack of understanding somebody else's perception. And it's perfectly okay to agree to disagree. It's perfectly we wouldn't want a society where we all think the same way.
No, of course not. But that's what certain people protesting temper tantrums are.
That's what they want.
That's what they want. Like I was saying earlier, the coexist thing.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
They want us to coexist as long as we agree with them.
Yeah.
You know what we call that? Nazism.
Yeah. it's interesting when you get a tense political climate, and we're in this for another 4 years, by the way, at least, because the media will not allow Trump to win.
Well, you're right. You're right. Now, I will say this, like just in response to that, and I'm going to let you finish. I think people have gotten a little smarter. Like like I don't have cable or DirecTV. I don't watch Fox News. I don't watch MS. I don't watch any of that shit.
Yeah.
I watch independent news and then form my own opinions.
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, you can see people that watch CNN, MSNBC, all that, like their ratings have tanked.
Yeah.
And people are watching Newsmax and Fox, and I think it's because they are trying to actually understand what's going on. Now, regardless of which way it goes, the fact that people are changing their viewpoint from one to the other and trying to understand and go back and forth, I think that's a positive silver lining.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, so I've referenced him a couple of times, this friend of mine on Facebook that is far left-leaning. He and I were in a open discussion about things, and his buddies kept chiming in, and his buddies were name-calling and attacking and all this stuff. And
I'm with Keith Gauze. I need names.
Yeah,
and
I don't even
addresses.
I don't even reply to that stuff.
No, that's why I need the information.
As long as we're staying productive and seeking to understand, then I'll keep talking.
Yeah,
right?
I'll listen to anything if it's productive.
Yeah, and so all things were productive, but a lot of times when you have somebody with different beliefs than you, they do like a lily pad narrative jump, where they'll be talking about the economy, and so you reply with an economy related reply, and then they're like, well, what about this, because there's racism, and they totally jump to a different narrative. And it's because you started to prove a really good point, and you started to sound
they didn't like
a little too good, and so they just jumped to a different narrative, right?
Yeah.
And so this started out as a conversation about the stock market and about tariffs and about what is the long-term play with all these. And, the day tariffs were announced, a lot of people raised prices, and they're like, oh, well, this is permanent. And it's like, hold on, this is a negotiation. This is, a snapshot.
Yeah, it's the COVID thing.
And so, again, this guy starts jumping from lily pad to lily pad, and we end on the fact that he was trying to say that nobody is in support of these and nobody likes Trump and everything else. And I'm like, hold on, the guy won a landslide election.
Yeah.
And I said he won every swing state, he won the Electoral College, and he won the popular vote. Like,
what do you mean nobody?
And he's like, no, he actually only won by like 1.4%.
Do you know what 1.4% is?
I understand.
Of the vote?
He's like,
it gets me fired up, man.
Yeah, he's like, he only won by 1.4%. So he knows I'm a Chiefs fan, and so he's like, so that would be like your Chiefs winning, 49-48, and you saying that's a landslide win. And okay, well, one's an election and one's a fucking football game.
Yeah,
but also, can you point to me presidents in history that won the Electoral College, that won the popular vote, and won every single swing state in existence?
No, you can't.
And I'm like, I don't think you can. So that by definition is a landslide. And he wanted to argue that it wasn't. And so then he started going, and I hate using this word, but he started going narcissistic, where he's telling me something is something that it's not, or something isn't something that it very clearly is. And so he's trying to tell me that, no, that's not a landslide election. And it's like, dude, I don't know what else you would call a land. Like, he won by the largest margin ever.
I don't understand why people think that their opinions are facts.
Right.
That's exactly what he was doing. Well, my opinion is that that's not a landslide, and that makes it a fact. No, it doesn't.
Right.
That makes it your opinion, and your opinion to me doesn't mean shit.
Right.
I'm sorry. You should have been like, if the Chiefs were, playing the Buffalo Bills and they scored 1 million points, that means the Buffalo Bills only would have scored like 960,000. Or whatever 1.4% of 1 million is. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But like, okay, so now we've got some perspective on exactly what that means.
Well, I mean, one
point is one touchdown.
If you really if you really want to try to compare it, then let's say, okay, that the Chiefs won the battle of the clock. They had time of possession more. The Chiefs had more offensive yards. The Chiefs had more defensive turnovers. The Chiefs had more points in each individual quarter. Like, the Chiefs were leading at halftime. The Chiefs never lost the lead. Like, and if they still only won by like 4 points, that's still a dominant win. If you dominated the clock, you dominated passing yards, you dominated rushing yards, you dominated defense, you dominated points.
Yeah.
That's a dominant win. It doesn't matter that you blew them out.
Yeah.
That's still a landslide win.
What does Vin Diesel say?
Yeah.
Whether you win by an inch or a mile, a
winning's
win's a
winning.
win.
Right.
Winning's winning. Like, hey, dude, and what they will discredit a win because they think if Biden or if Kamala would have won by the same margin, well, it was a landslide. We dominated.
Yeah.
You'd be saying the same thing.
Right.
Like what? Just because you win or just because you lose doesn't mean everyone then has to agree with you. That's the real problem.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, you're seeing this a ton now, and the reason we're even talking about this is because it's our job as business owners to make sure that we stay apprised to this, because it's our duty as Americans to stay apprised to it.
Yeah.
But we don't let it distract us from the day-to-day operations of our business. And we don't let it distract us from the day-to-day conversations that we're having with vendors and employees and customers and everything else, right?
Yeah.
So like you, if you went to a customer's home that has a rainbow flag out front and has a Biden-Harris, sign in the yard or whatever, like you don't give them any different level of service that you would anybody else.
No, I don't.
It's just not in our nature to do that. And if you are doing that, then you really need to like reevaluate your priorities, because your priority is probably not business. Your priority is probably just to try to get some attention somewhere.
Well, you need to this is going to sound stupid, prioritize your priorities.
Yeah.
Because they are not in line with what they should be. Your first priority should be make sure your business is running as efficiently as it can, making the most money it can, and you can't do that when you're putting your own personal beliefs ahead of making sales and taking care of your employees, and that is a problem.
Smart business people don't care about politics. They know the market is ever changing. They know that there's 1,000 external situations that will affect markets, and they're examining those situations for whatever they are and whatever their cause is, and they're making business decisions in accordance with it.
Yeah.
You don't see Warren Buffett praising or burning down any politician.
No.
All you see is Warren Buffett change his position based off of what his experience tells him he needs to do.
Yeah.
And it's no different. I tend to go the Republican way. I'm more of a like right-leaning libertarian than anything else.
We're both libertarians. We want everyone to leave us alone and let us do our own shit.
Yeah. And ironically, that guy that I was arguing with on the internet, he was like, "No, you're definitely far right. You are totally MAGA." And I'm like, "Oh, I wouldn't go there at all. I am not totally MAGA."
No, you are, and that's enough. God, I don't want to get on a whole nother thing here. That is a made-up term.
Yeah.
And then the definite, like, I want to make America great. That's what he said. And then they took that, made it MAGA,
and make it,
and then they were like, okay, anyone that believes this is now this person.
Yeah.
They created a definition of it.
Yeah.
That's bullshit.
Yeah.
Anyone in this country should technically be MAGA.
Yeah.
Make America great again.
We all want the same thing.
We
We
all
just have
want
different
America.
ideas for how to go about it.
Yeah. Like, technically, we should all be that.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing, man?
You want America to be great. It's just you have a different definition of great than I do.
Or a different definition of America.
Or a different definition of a woman. But
Stop. The Constitution says what it says.
Yeah.
We have got to move on.
Yeah. I watched some politician Trump enacted some 200-year-old law to do something, and it had to do with like the deportation stuff. And there was some news reporter being like, "You really had to go back to a 200-year-old law to make this happen? Like, don't you think that means you have a weak case?" And the politician goes, 200-year-old laws still apply, much like our Constitution, and we still follow that.
Yeah. Does anyone even know what the first line of the Constitution is? It's "We the people, motherfucker."
Right.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
God.
So,
God, people are ignorant.